Am I the asshole for not telling my in-laws I was born deaf? So I was born nearly completely deaf, 80% in one ear 60% in the other, and spoke like a deaf person until I was around 8. However, after multiple surgeries, adenoids removed and grommets put in and lots of speech therapy, you could never tell now. I'm still around 20% deaf in one ear and around 40 in the other, but hey, I get by fine now. I've mentioned it in passing to my significant other but never really went into detail, and in-laws have no idea. So I recent went to my in-laws with my significant other for the week. COVID rules allowed in my country, and to say that tongue-in-cheek is an understatement, and after a few drinks 2 SILs bring up a running joke they've had where they speak like deaf people. Who knows why, and even do the flailing arm gestures to mock disabled people. Everyone finds this hilarious. I just kinda sit there awkwardly and smile along. This goes on for about an hour. Now the next day, note, I also wear glasses with a fairly high perception. Sil walks in and asks to try on my glasses, then announced, "Fuck, you are blind," then hands them back. Now I've had that exact conversation thousands of times, so don't take offense, but joked, yeah, I really drew the short straw as a kid. Being deaf and blind, I was screwed. Sil's eyes then go wide, and I explain my past. Sil then asks if I heard what they were saying last night. I say, well, yeah. I was sat next to you. Obviously I heard. She goes on to say how I should have said something. They never would have joked in front of me knowing I was deaf. I say I couldn't care less, I've had it my whole life. But it then made the rest of the trip fairly awkward. Mill then said that they feel really bad now, and I should have spoke up, and significant other agrees, and they think I purposefully let them continue to mock me, just to make them feel bad, that if I didn't say anything then I shouldn't have said anything at all, and that me saying something the next day is just petty and me trying to make them feel bad. But I genuinely wasn't that bothered. I'm used to it. It's more awkward to say something, not to mention the speaking really loud and slow. Once you tell them, I know this is minor, but am I the asshole? Should I have said something or nothing? Your significant other knew. They should have said something before it got that far. Not the asshole. Wait a minute. It's okay to be derogatory and mock deaf people as long as a deaf person isn't there. That's effed up. They should feel bad. You don't have to talk about your medical history, your birth circumstances, or anything else, and especially if people are mocking it. They would have just felt bad earlier instead of digging their own darn hole deeper. Maybe they'll think more next time. Absolutely not the asshole, and it's not your responsibility to make other people aware of their asshattery. We were only assholes because you didn't stop us. Yes. Gaslighting at its finest. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Their argument is like saying it's okay to make racist jokes as long as no black person is sat there. NTA. Whether they knew or not doesn't change the inappropriateness of the jokes. And they want to blame you thinking face. The assholes here are your SO's entire family. They showed their asses. They have no respect for people with disabilities, and that includes you. They should feel terrible for what they said. It was ignorant and frankly disgusting. Terrible people hate being recognized as terrible people and will blame anyone but themselves for their terrible behavior. Not the asshole, but I do wonder why you're with someone who doesn't speak up for disabled people. While it isn't your job to educate people, if anyone in that family actually cared about not being ableist, someone would have been said something. It's not your fault they're ignorant, and then instead of taking it as a learning moment, they instead decided to blame you and still believe that their words aren't wrong as long as someone of those groups doesn't hear. What other minorities does this behavior extend to? You should have told us so we would make fun of your disability behind your back instead of to your face. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Imagine carrying on in that manner for an hour. What a bunch of dull, low-intellect people to spend time with. The general rule is each person in the relationship deals with their family members. It's on your significant other here to run interference on the drama stirring and lay the boundaries. You do not have to do a damn thing. Not the asshole. And they're even more the asshole because of the whole, we wouldn't have made this joke if we had known. It means they know it's wrong. And you didn't make a scene or anything, so this is just them blaming you because they're embarrassed for what they did. This is not minor, to be honest. I'm so angry that your significant other not only sat there and went along with it, but also placed the blame for their ableism on you. They only feel guilty because their jokes were said around someone affected, but they have no problem mocking you or any other disabled person. They quite frankly all sound like repulsive and simply cruel people, and I personally could not possibly find myself, even if I were fully able-bodied, remotely comfortable around any of them. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Your in-laws are embarrassed, and rightly so. They humiliated themselves by being ableist Rs. If you were white passing, and your in-laws got drunk and started telling racist jokes, it wouldn't make them any less racist if they decided against it after finding out you have black ancestors. How are you the asshole for them choosing to mock people? They seem like the default state of being a mocking people if they think they're not in the room. Not the asshole, but this whole scenario gives me the impression this is probably the least of the bad behavior. Not the asshole, but your significant other and in-laws sure are. Not the asshole. They're just trying to place blame because they feel bad that they're a bunch of dicks for making fun of disabled people. I wouldn't have said anything in the middle of the conversation either. I feel like that would have made things even more awkward for everyone. And the way you made the comment after she tried on your glasses seemed very innocuous. Don't worry about it. Not the asshole. I'm hard of hearing on my left side after an accident, and every time I mention it to people I get the loud and slow treatment and hate it. I know where you're coming from and can without a doubt you are not the A. Not the asshole if you wouldn't say it in front of a deaf person. You shouldn't say it at all. The fact that you happen to have a history does not make them more of an asshole because they were already at peak asshole. Not the asshole. She goes on to say how I should have said something. They never would have joked in front of me knowing I was deaf. Meaning they'd do it behind your back. Mill then said that they feel really bad now. As they should. Sure, you can mock people's disabilities for comedy, but don't be surprised when someone calls you an asshole for it. I'm multiracial but kind of racially ambiguous. I'm frequently mistaken for white by white people. It's amazing the things people say when they don't know something. I can't tell you how many times white people said some pretty racist stuff in front of me and either I or someone else says, she's mixed. I kind of enjoy watching the look on people's faces in that, oh shit moment. Not the asshole. It's not your fault they are insensitive people that make fun of differently abled people. They should feel awkward and shamed. Not the asshole. The assholes of the world often have a memory hole for the concept of medical privacy. At least for other people's medical privacy. You are legally and ethically justified in sharing as much or as little about this as you choose, on the time schedule you choose, full stop. Those in-laws embarrassed themselves. Then rather than doing the decent thing, which would be owning up to their mistake and learning from it, they're trying to shirk responsibility by guilting you. This is utter bullshit. You're good-natured to let it roll off your back. They don't deserve you. Not the asshole. So they are saying they will only make fun of deaf people behind your back now instead of in front of you. Telling people you are a part of a group they are actively mocking takes stones and makes things super awkward, which not everyone can handle. If you wanted to say something in the moment that was your right, but nothing is wrong with deciding you don't want to drop that social bomb. They were rude and awful and now have to confront that fact. Not the asshole. People are always the asshole when they try to make you responsible for their shameful actions. Not the asshole. What is their major malfunction? Not the asshole. They shouldn't mock anybody, doesn't matter if you were deaf or not. And they want to put the guilt on you because they are horrible people. Your significant other failed big time. They should have stopped the behavior a long time ago, not just because you were in their life, but because what they were doing was wrong. Can't really call you in because it is up to you as to whether you were offended, but I would have been disgusted by their behavior. Not deaf, but have known a few and their struggles, and watching elders go deaf as they get older, which makes their lives so difficult, has been hard. I don't think you are the A, but your significant other certainly is the family. Not the asshole. You shouldn't need to tell people that you were deaf for them to not make fun of deaf people. Not the asshole. You will need to think hard about your relationship with your significant other is condoning their family's ableist ways and gaslighting you for having bad eyesight and hearing, not even condoning anyone's behavior, which by you are well within your right to do so. You need to talk with your significant other, suggest couple therapy or something, because what your significant other did is not right. They shouldn't have been making fun of disabled people anyways. They're just being shitty because they know it's wrong and don't want to own it. They mock disabled people for fun and you're making them feel bad. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I'm Ho and I usually wait for someone to completely shove their foot in their mouth before I let them know. It's a more effective lesson in empathy and decency in my opinion. Not the asshole. I'm legally blind but functional, so most people don't know it. Astonishing how many time people backtrack stuff once they find out, like your comments are fine if a person can see but not if they can't. If your comment is only appropriate situationally, then it is never really appropriate, is it? Not the asshole. Mocking disabled people is never funny. Your partner should have spoken up, and if you had said something, I can almost guarantee they would have been snitty you, corrected them. Sometimes there's no winning, so don't even participate in their games. NTA. Sounds like the mill is victim blaming and attention whoring. Lol. So, they are all ableist twats, but you should apologize. Lol. Not the asshole. Well, I can't fault you. I mean, their behavior was jerk behavior even if they didn't know they were making fun of you specifically, and they kinda deserve to feel bad. Not the asshole. They should feel stupid and bad. Maybe it's even better that you didn't say anything. Not the asshole. I'm ho-to, so maybe a bit biased, but even though I always make fun of myself, I hate when someone's making fun of other disabled people. Sitting here trying to figure out how and why mocking deaf people is funny. Nope. Still don't get it. Where was so significant other in all of this? Here's an idea: they could not make fun of disabilities. Just a thought. Your in-laws are bizarre people. They demand you apologize for not stopping their shitty and tasteless behavior. LMAO. Not only are they ableist, their sense of justice is skewed. As if you're to blame for their embarrassment. Not the asshole. I mean, not the asshole. Whether you were deaf or not is irrelevant. They're absolute assholes for making fun of disabled people. All I hear is, I embarrassed myself by showing my true character. You're the asshole for letting me. Not the asshole, but your in-laws sure are. Not the asshole. Why would you let me be a bigot when I didn't know you were one of the people I'm bigoted against? For fuck's sake. SMH. I'm fairly sure they'd have found a reason to get mad at you if you'd said something at the time. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Squarely not the asshole. Not the asshole. Your partner is just as awful as his family. Probably has the same beliefs also. Who does that? Not the asshole. Everyone finds this hilarious. Including your because fuck. No, the in-laws are definitely the assholes here. They were making ableist jokes and should feel bad for doing it. You did nothing wrong here. You are absolutely not the asshole. They're the assholes for doing that in the first place. They should really consider why they think it'd be okay to mock people at all under any circumstance. They should also understand that it can be really hard to speak up in the moment, especially when it's something they all seem to have no problem with. Being the odd one out is peer pressure. These people sound horrible that they think mocking others is hilarious. Info: why didn't your significant other say anything?